Most people don't quit because the problem is impossible. They quit because they try solving the wrong problem. If you try to solve a problem, there are only two outcomes. Either you solve it or either you quit solving it. There is no other way. Because if there is something we cannot solve, definitely that wouldn't probably exist. If something exists, you can definitely solve it. Most of us walk with the mental load or carry the mental load of unresolved problems or unsolved problems of social relationships, health, wealth, or career. Some problems we neglect or some problems we fear facing. But both the negligence and fear stem from the root cause, and that root cause is we don't know how to solve our problem. And because we don't know how to solve our problem, we neglect or avoid solving that problem, and it manifests or disguises some other thing like procrastination or any other problem, or we say that in other fancy ways like I don't like that anymore, or I'm not interested in that anymore, or we say with a number of reasons, but the root cause is we don't know how to solve the problem. And the more we avoid, the more friction we get. So if you can't solve a problem, it doesn't mean you cannot solve it. If you can't solve a bigger problem, there is something simpler or easier problem you need to solve first, and then you need to go for that bigger problem or complex one. So how do you get that simpler or easier one before solving that complex or bigger problem? All you need to do is to break down that bigger or complex problem into a small and actionable problem. And before going to know how to break any big problem into smaller one and solve any problem with this simple technique, let's know the key difference between why we struggle to solve any problem, why we invest a lot of energy in solving problems that are irrelevant, and why we waste our time solving wrong things in our life. If you write the problem down clearly, the matter is half solved. Kidlin's law. So the real problem is confusion. The simpler problem underneath is lack of clarity. So the real problem is confusion. Like I said earlier, if you cannot solve the bigger or complex problem, you need to solve something easier and simple problem before that. And initially, the simpler and easier problems are getting the clarity first from the confusion. This is a big dilemma. We always try to solve problems in the confused state, and we always try to pinpoint the problems that are fancy or noisy or cluttery. You can name it. There are n number of things that you can get confused. But your first thing in solving any problem is to get clarity from the confusion. You need to distill the root cause of the problem, and you can clearly see what the problem is so that you can take action. When you are clear about what's the problem, your action becomes too obvious. And when your action becomes obvious, you know whether the solution works or not. And that's how you learn. If you're given 6 hours of time, if you think for 4 hours and you don't act for the rest of the 2 hours, then that thinking won't help you anything. Thinking for more than 75% of time is good and essential, but if you don't act, you cannot validate whether that point is right or wrong. So you need to act, and after taking action, you will learn whether that action is appropriate or not. The structure goes like you act, and then you fail, and then you learn, and then you iterate, and then you persist. And that's how you get whatever you want, and that's how you solve any problem. And that's what intelligence means. And the key thing here you need to remember is it's something bonus point for you. Knowing is not equals to learning. Knowing means it's just accumulation of information. You know how to do exercise, you know how to hit the bench press for chest exercise. You've watched like 10 to 20 videos of it. You've read 20 blogs on how to build chest, and you read different kind of nutrition about how to build the chest, and you know all those. But it's not like you are intelligent enough because you haven't implemented all those. When you hit the gym, you get that muscle soreness, and you know how much strength you have and what food you need to have according to your body condition. You learn all these things only after action and then failure. So you act, fail, and then learn, and you iterate, and then again you persist. And after like 3 to 6 months, you try different things to develop your chest, and you'll get to know what is working best for you, what is getting the most results. And when you know that, you are intelligent. You are intelligent only when you get what you want. You exactly applied that knowledge and you achieved what you want. That's what intelligence means. And like I said, confusion is the biggest problem. It drains a lot of your energy. When you're confused, you switch between different tasks, you switch between different strategies or plans, and you end up nowhere because you invested energy in different things. You haven't stick to one thing. And most of the time we solve wrong things with confusion, and we end up saying this is not working, this is something, there is a problem in this tool, or there's a problem in the system. We complain all those things, but the thing is, you should be very clear. To give you an example, just recall your shopping and we don't have any idea what to buy, and when we went to different shops, we don't know what to wear or we don't know what to buy because we don't have any clarity, and we are confused because each salesperson offers different clothes to us. We are tempted by each and every pair we see. So obviously we'll confuse and we'll drain energy. We'll get exhausted because we don't know exactly what to buy. Just imagine any other situation. You have a picture in your mind that you want to wear specific outfit for your birthday or specific festival, and you have that picture in your mind and your mind literally looks for that one. You are too obvious that I just want specific outfit for the festival or for my next birthday, and you literally go to 10 to 20 shops and definitely you will get what you want because you're pretty much clear about what you want to solve. You're pretty much clear about what you want to get, and that's the role play of clarity. It's completely opposite to confusion. When you're confused, you cannot decide at all because you switch between different things. When you're clear, you're too obvious about action. Though sometimes, unlike that shopping metaphor or example, you might not get what you want at first, but you act, fail, learn, iterate, and persist, and that's how you get what you want. So the same thing happens, be it the job search or business or relationship or career or money problems, anything. Most of us give up. It's not because we cannot solve the problem, or it's not because we don't have the capabilities. It's only because we are not clear about what to solve. And above all, this confusion drains the energy. It makes us exhausted. It makes us feel low. Every time we think like something else might be working, maybe I'm not capable of solving this problem. It's not like that. Once you are clear and that problem is actionable enough, simple and doable, you can literally take action and you can literally get whatever you want. You can judge one's intelligence by their system's ability to iterate and persist through trial and error. Dan Co. You can literally represent your low IQ when you keep on sticking to the same mistakes. You keep on repeating that mistakes, and that's what low IQ means. When you have high IQ, like I said, you literally learn, adapt, iterate, and persist, and you get whatever you want. And the only difference is every time you apply the knowledge. You just don't keep on repeating the same thing. That's the main difference. You can solve any problem in your life. The cause versus the effect. We often try to fix the effects rather than the cause. When your mind is clear, energy flows. When energy flows, actions happens. When action happens, the problem dissolves. It's like looking at a tree. If you look at the tree, the confusion part or the cluttery part is like leaves and fruits. You're always exposed to these leaves and fruits, just like the confusion part in our problem. They are always noisy and fancy, and they attract our attention, they demand our attention, they pull our attention. But what we need to do is to ignore those fruits and leaves, and we need to dig down deep to get into the roots. We call it as confusion part. We need to get to the roots of any problem, and what is the cause and what I need to address. And this is similar to first principles thinking. And now you're clear that to solve any problem, first you need to be clear. You need to be crystal clear about the problem. You need to know what's the problem and what's the action I need to take. So you avoid the confusion of the clutter part, and then you distill clarity from that one. When you have clarity about the problem, you can literally take clear and specific action to solve that. And now the question is how to seek clarity. And to seek clarity, use this Japanese 5 whys technique. It is very similar to first principles thinking. It's just you need to keep on asking why for 5 times. Sometimes you can ask more than 5 whys. It's just the idea or the purpose is to get to the root cause of the problem. Let's go through the simple example of how to use this 5 whys technique. I want to lose weight. Why do I want to lose weight? Because I feel low energy and poor confidence. Why do I feel low energy? Because I sleep poorly and feel bloated often. Why do I sleep poorly and feel bloated? Because I eat heavy, late dinners and spend long hours on screens. Why do I eat late and stay on screens? Because I don't manage my work schedule well and use screens to relax. Why don't I manage my schedule well? Because I say yes to everything and don't set boundaries. So you can trace back the root problem like this. Because of the lack of boundaries, you have poor time management and poor sleep and late meals and then low energy and you're gaining weight. So that's how you get to the root cause of the problem. You use that cluttery part or the leaves or the fruits of the problem to get to the roots. But here's the one thing you need to remember: the 3 rules for using the 5 Whys effectively. You may use the 5 Whys technique, but you still can fail if you do not use these 3 rules. The first one is be honest with your answer. There shouldn't be any filters. The second one is define the problem clearly. Don't chase symptoms. Third one, have the determination to go deep and not settle for surface level excuses. So if you can do that, you can solve any problem. So every problem has a solution. If there is no solution, probably the problem wouldn't exist. Just because if you're stuck, it's not like that problem has no solution. There is a solution. If you're stuck at bigger or complex problem, you just need to look at something that is simpler or easier problem you need to solve first, and then you move to the complex problem. So all you need to do is to remove that noise or the clutter or the confusing part and just act on the simple problem and learn from it when you fail, and then iterate and keep on persisting, and definitely you will get the solution for the problem you have. Next time when you're stuck, don't chase the noise or the confusion part. Ask the right question. Give yourself honest answers. The best thing you can do is to do journaling on daily basis, so you can reflect on your thoughts, and when you give honest answers, there's no one going to look at your answers in your diary, and that's how you can solve any problem. Use this 5 Whys technique and keep in head about the Kidlin's law, that if you can write down any problem clearly, you already solved half of the matter. Signing off.